You ever get pulled over for something so small you figured it'd be over in 5 minutes? Just a tail light, maybe a warning, maybe a ticket, and you're back on the road. That's what I thought was happening that Thursday evening. Long stretch of highway outside Dry Creek, Arizona, sun going down slow over the hills, casting shadows like fingers reaching across the asphalt. I was riding my old 1963 BSA. Thunderbolting rattles like a junk drawer, but runs smooth if you know her quirks. I wasn't in a rush. Never am anymore. That comes with age. I saw the cruiser flip on its lights in my rear view, and I just pulled off, no drama. Killed the engine, took off my helmet, and waited. Didn't even feel nervous. Two officers stepped out. Young guys, maybe early 30s. Some of them had that kind of polite authority. The other looked like he was still figuring out how to wear the uniform. They walked up slow, like they were approaching a bear that might be asleep or might be bluffing. "Evening, sir," the tall one said. "Mind stepping off for a second?" "Something wrong?" I asked, not because I didn't know, but because it's polite to let them say it. "Just your tail light. Flickering pretty bad. Figured you might not know." I nodded. "Probably older than both of you put together." They chuckled, which was nice. Made things human. The other one walked around back, checking my plates, looking over the gears strapped to the bike. He lingered on the patch stitched into my jacket, 101 SD Airborne, sun-faded and frayed. He asked if I was active duty. I told him, a long time ago. "How long?" "Long enough," I said, and he didn't push it. The tall one took my ID back to the cruiser. The quiet one stayed with me, trying to make small talk. Where was I headed? "A veteran's ride," I said, 6 miles out. He nodded, but looked skeptical. Not many old guys riding solo anymore. I didn't respond. Back at the cruiser, the officer was frowning at the screen, something about my name not lining up with normal records. Not bad stuff, just unusual. Old clearance tags. Cold War era nonsense that no one today really understands. He called it in. That's when the air started to shift. Not the temperature, but the tension, like something old waking up under the ground. Then I felt it. Low vibration. Barely noticeable unless you know what to listen for. Dust started to kick up on the horizon. The younger cop noticed me watching. "You hear something?" he asked. "Not yet," I said, "but they're coming." Before they could ask what I meant, a convoy started rolling in. First it was Humvees, then 2 troop transports, then a black SUV that definitely wasn't from around here. 50 soldiers in full combat gear, standing upright even while the trucks were moving. The kind of entry that makes you forget how to breathe. The SUV stopped behind the cruiser. Door opened. Out stepped a man with boots polished like glass and a face I hadn't seen in years. Captain Elias Ramirez. Younger than me by 3 decades, but he carried something in his eyes that made you feel like he'd seen more than most men twice his age. He walked right past the cops, stood in front of me, and said, "Sir." "Eli," I said. That was all. The officers looked like they'd been dropped into the middle of a movie they didn't understand. "What is going on?" one of them asked. Ramirez didn't even look back. "You're not in trouble, officers. You did your job. What you didn't know is this man," he motioned to me, "is the reason I exist." Then he told them about Laos. 1971. A rescue mission no one wanted on record. 23 POWs behind enemy lines. No backup, no radio, just a busted map and a prayer. Said his father was a corporal back then. Said I pulled him out of the jungle with a bullet in his leg and fire behind us. He told me, Ramirez said, "You walked through bullets like they had to ask your permission first." I didn't say anything. What can you say to that? Then something I never expected happened. 50 soldiers lined the highway shoulder in perfect formation. One young private stepped forward with a folded flag. Hands like stone, eyes barely out of boyhood. Ramirez said his name was Lawson. Said his grandfather was one of the men I saved. Lawson offered me the flag like it was made of glass. I took it, held it against my chest. For a second, I saw every face we left behind. Every name I still remember. My voice cracked when I whispered, "I didn't save them all," Ramirez said, "but you saved enough for us to be here." Then I did something I hadn't done since 1987. I saluted. No ceremony. No cameras. Just me, the desert, and a memory. I handed the flag back to Private Lawson. Told him, "Keep it. You'll understand later." Then came another surprise. A woman crossed the road. Looked like she'd been crying. Told me her brother Alan Forrester, Navy pilot, was listed MIA. Said someone marked his crash site so the body could be recovered later. She handed me a scrap of paper. On it, the words, "Forrester. Don't let him vanish." She said, "That was you, wasn't it?" I nodded. All I could do. She hugged me. Years of grief wrapped in one simple act. The soldiers saluted again. Final time. Taps played soft over the bugle. Dust in the air. Silence louder than any speech. And just like that, they were gone. I didn't go to the benefit ride that day. I went home. Pulled into the garage. Sat with the harmonica Ramirez gave Mesame one I gave his dad during the war. Said it kept him sane. I left the harmonica on my wife's grave the next morning. She never liked when I played it. Said I was always a half step off. But it felt right. Weeks passed. Kids started showing up at my garage. Old bikes, busted tools, questions in their eyes. I started teaching again. Not war stories. Just how to listen to an engine. How to weld without lighting yourself on fire. How to keep your hands steady. Britton the cop, who pulled me over, came by with donuts. Sat on a milk crate. Watched me teach a 12-year-old how to fix a carburetor. Said, "I think you did more than fix a taillight that day." I told him, if I knew it'd lead to all this, I might have fixed it sooner. He laughed. Think the captain would have let you get away that easy? Probably not. You asked me if I deserved that salute? No, that wasn't for me. That was for the ones who didn't come home. I just carried their names a little further. And maybe, if I teach these kids right, they'll carry them a little further too. If this story got to you even a little, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Talk about it. Ask your folks, your grandparents, your neighbors. Ask them what they did that no one ever thanked them for. You might be surprised what comes out. And if you ever see someone riding an old bike with a 101st patch on the back, give him a nod. They might just nod back. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.